Back to the Birdhouse Dynasty show, and tonight's My Guys episode of the Dynasty Startup analyzation of what guys I am loving to choose right now in the current Dynasty Startups I've been a part of. And so I'm not necessarily been able to draft all these guys, but these are some of the guys that I've been targeting and or I've just loved where they've fallen to me, or even if I've had to reach on them, I'll tell you why I don't mind doing so in current Dynasty Startups. So, without wasting any time, I'd love to get into my first guy who is definitely one of my guys, and that is Mr. Baker Mayfield. That's right. Baker Mayfield, good old number 6 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, is going at the 41st pick on average. That's QB 14 and the 405 for you keeping track at home. Yes, so he's going around the middle of the fourth, usually after that little tier of young quarterbacks. I'm talking like Caleb Williams, Drake May. Um, who else is in there? You can throw not quite Trevor Lawrence, but yeah, if you go, sometimes those guys are going as high as the second round, but then into the third round, it dips a little bit. And Baker usually is sitting there right for you in the fourth round. And so if you don't want to reach on a quarterback in the first, second, or third rounds of your startups, or maybe you've already grabbed one at, say, the beginning, you grabbed an elite tier quarterback like Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, or Jaden Daniels, and then you want to follow that up with a stud second quarterback, Baker is your guy. Baker finished in the top 5 in many fantasy formats last season, and so there's no reason to really suspect a huge downfall other than Liam Cohen leaving, but the Bucks did add to the arsenal, drafting Emeka Egbuka in the first round. And so, yes, you can tell I'm excited. Obviously, what reason would I have not to be for Baker to just light things up again next year? Like, this guy has been honestly a better passer of the football than I thought he was prior to coming to Tampa. Now, he obviously had a shit show in Cleveland and Carolina, and then showed a little promise with the Rams, and that's what got him to be signed initially by the Bucks. And now we had given him that big deal, um, signing him up for 3 years. It wasn't too huge, but signed him up for 3 years for $100 million. And so far, he's paying off well. Still got Mike Evans. Chris Godwin will be back, hopefully week 1. If not, I wouldn't be surprised if it's like week 2 or 3. But all signs are pointing towards Godwin being ready for week 1 of the regular season. And then, of course, like I said, Egbuka and Jalen McMillan still there in the arsenal for him. Kate Otten at tight end, and a good, solid running game with Bucky Irving and Rashad White. There's no reason to think, really, that the Bucks offense shouldn't be pretty solid this season going forward. So I see Baker as sort of a discount here. Like I said, going after, the top guys, then your young quarterbacks. I just want to see who I would actually draft ahead of him. I want to give you an idea. Because it's hard for me to say. I mean, I love him so much. No, so you got Caleb. Usually after Patrick Mahomes is drafted, you have this little tier of Caleb, Drake May, Bo Nix, Justin Herbert. Herbert could go ahead of those guys or after them. Then you have C.J. Stroud and Jordan Love, and Stroud and Love are very similar to me, both pocket passing quarterbacks. Stroud does have Nico Collins attached to him. Jordan Love doesn't have a stud like that. Obviously, the Packers are hoping Matthew Golden's that type of guy, but he isn't there yet. And so, what you've got is Baker Mayfield with his rushing ability, like he just has to put up numbers somewhat similar to last season to again finish in the top 10, whereas CJ Stroud and Jordan Love have to put up monster numbers, right, to get to that level without the rushing ability. So after that, you have Kyler Murray, who's pretty similar in the style, right, that Baker is, just that, well, I don't want to be harsh, but he's just not as good at it, right? Like, Kyler's got two weapons that are probably better than any weapons the Bucks have in Trey McBride and Marvin Harrison, at least talent-wise. But to compare Mike Evans and Marvin Harrison's kind of hard to do right now. Mike Evans has done it for years. Marv is just starting. But the point being, Baker's got more weapons around him. He can spread the ball around more. That bodes better to his fantasy aspect. As you saw last season, there were 4 weeks where Baker didn't even have Mike Evans or Chris Godwin. Yet that didn't stop him from being quarterback 4 on the season. Now, again, I'm not expecting him to finish top 5, but top 10 is more than fine for me when I'm selecting him as the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Like, I took him as the 12th quarterback in the most recent startup at the 404. Okay? I did not reach on him unless you consider me taking him 1 pick ahead of Jordan Love, reaching on a dude who's done it now, and that I think has better weapons than Jordan Love has, right? I mean, the Packers do have plenty of weapons. The Bucks receivers just have more experience. So it's very close. But it tips in Baker's favor when it comes to the rushing ability. Now, yeah, you can say Jordan Love is younger. Sure. But Jordan Love isn't that young, right? And Baker is only 30 years old. Like, he's got plenty of tread left on the tires. So anyway, the point being, it's a nice sweet spot, 4th round, to grab a quarterback. I love this range to grab a quarterback in startups right now. And Baker is a guy that you can pretty much count on, barring injury. He's going to produce for you at a very good solid rate. And he can give you weeks that will help you compete with the high-end guys. All right, what do we got from the chat here? Tough to argue with that receiver room. Yeah, I mean, come on. I was shocked when we took Ibuka. So, I was pleasantly surprised. I did want us to go defense, but man, I mean, if you're looking at Evans or Godwin missing any significant time, and that could easily happen again, then you just helped your franchise quarterback now continue to produce and keep the team afloat and keep the team. I mean, that's how we won the division still last year in Tampa. It was because of Baker's play in those games when Evans and Godwin were out. So, all right. Blah, blah, blah. Enough about Baker. I'll get the pewter-colored sunglasses off someday. But they're white tonight. Okay, so I do like our white uniforms best. Anyway, let's get to my other guy. And that guy, I wanted to shake things up a little. That guy is not, this guy is not somebody that I've actually been able to get as much as I would like, and that is, yes, Justin Fields. I'll be the first to admit that Justin Fields is not somebody that I expected to ever be one of my guys. I did not like him as a quarterback in Chicago. Was tentative, but drafted him in a redraft league last year and also traded for him prior to the rookie draft in another league. I think I had just tons of picks and I gave up like a third and a fourth rounder for Fields. But pleasantly surprised last year by his performance in Pittsburgh. Again, we're playing fantasy football, and it does not matter how many wins or losses your guy gets. It just matters how many yards and touchdowns your guy gets. And that's what Justin Fields can do for you. And the blessing is he doesn't have Russell Wilson looking over his shoulder now in New York. Like, he signed a 2-year guaranteed deal, basically, where even if he sucks this year, even if he's terrible, the Jets still have to play him. They still have to roll him out there. I mean, let's just bring it up real quickly. Okay, I guess I can't while I'm sitting on the laptop on Sleeper, unfortunately. But I can bring it up here. Who is actually behind Justin Fields? It is Tyrod Taylor. That's right. Then you have Adrian Martinez and Brady Cook. I'm telling you right now, the only way Tyrod Taylor is getting on the field is a Justin Fields injury, and they're still in the hunt for the playoffs. All right? So, Matt, yes, I know your guy is J.J. McCarthy. That's why I didn't put him up here. I'm saving those for you for a future show. You guys can all look forward to that. Mr. Matt English with his guys, we'll call it. But now we're talking about Justin Fields and his opportunity that he has. It's similar to what he had in Chicago, right? He had one alpha receiver. He's got Garrett Wilson now. Had DJ Moore in Chicago. He's got an all right young tight end. Cole Kmet was okay. Mason Taylor, we don't know. The guy was a stud in college, and he looked good in the combine, and so who knows? I mean, Jeremy Ruckert was actually somebody that he played with in college, as was Garrett Wilson. So you got the familiarity there. You got the backing of the new head coach, Aaron Glenn. He brought in his system from Detroit, offensively as well as defensively. He brought, I believe it's I don't want to say it wrong. I'm not sure if it was the quarterback's coach or the passing game coordinator. But either way, he brought somebody with him from the Lions to run the offense. So, point being is there's a successful mind in the room there, an NFL successful mind in the room there, helping Fields try to grow as a quarterback. And that's not something I think he had when he was in Pittsburgh. Plus, he had Russell Wilson looking over his shoulder. Look, Tyrod Taylor is a great backup, but he's a career backup right now. He is not looking over Justin Fields' shoulder. He's only going to help the guy as much as he possibly can at this point in his career. And so, Justin Fields' rushing ability alone, he is going right now at the 81st pick. That's QB 23 and the 709. Okay, so middle of the 7th. The reason I love it is because by picking him in the middle of the 7th, all right, as long as he's not your first quarterback, you have plenty of time to backfill behind Justin Fields if he does happen to get benched somehow. Okay, there's no reason you can't scoop up Geno Smith or even Aaron Rodgers, somebody, Matthew Stafford, somebody after Fields. And in best ball, man, I got him in one league and he's my third quarterback and I have 4 quarterbacks. So it's like just a gold mine there. But point being, Fields can be great for you fantasy-wise. He can win you weeks. He could win you a league. All right. Next up. Said I got 10 guys, so let's get through them. Next up, one diamond down in the rough, and he's still hanging out down there, but you should not forget about him. and that is Daniel Jones with the Colts, currently going at pick 202, which is quarterback 36, and the 1910. Are you kidding me? 19th round for a dude who could start multiple games, could start the majority of the games for the Indianapolis Colts. We all know about the shoulder injury for Anthony Richardson. Whether or not that will prevent him from starting week one, we still don't know. But at the same time, I'm leaning towards Daniel Jones actually being a better quarterback than Anthony Richardson at this point. So, unless Anthony Richardson sets the world on fire, starts off 4-1, and is playing well, if the Colts start off 2-3, 2-4, and Richardson has a 3-interception half, boom. I just, and the whole world knows it at this point, except the fact that we're not doing it in our dynasty drafts right now. Why is he still going on average in round 19? That's nuts. Okay, I got him in round 17 in one league and 16 in the other, and the third startup he went in round 12. That's the most recent one that I did. So some people are finally wising up. That was Justin, the best ball Bruni. He went ahead and grabbed Daniel Jones in the 12th round. It was the first quarterback taken after the starter, or most of the starters, all of the starters, yes, had been taken. It was right after, I believe, Tyler Shook went. He may have even taken him, possibly it was before Aaron Rodgers. I can't remember. But point being is that the word is out now, and Daniel Jones, as far as efficiency goes, yes, he may not be the most accurate quarterback. But as far as being able to win games, being able to run a system, how many times does he run the ball? Can he run designed runs? He has great efficiency on designed runs. So, point being is that he's going to run the similar offense that they already have in place for Anthony Richardson there. Okay, he's just going to be able to do it more effectively, in my opinion. Yes, the athleticism may not be there for an electric 85-yard touchdown run, but the ability to convert on third down is better with Daniel Jones because he's just a little bit better of a pass. Remember, there's not a high bar to cross here when you're comparing throwing ability to Anthony Richardson. All right, so that's all I'm saying. The dude's very likely to start. If he's your fourth quarterback on your team, it's a very good situation to be in. If you've already drafted and if you got him, just hang on to him. If you're coming up on a draft, just know, maybe plan to take him like 2 rounds earlier than you would have prior. Put it that way. All right, let's move on from the quarterback position. Let's get into some running backs. Let me clear this off for you. All right. And we're going to start off with my boy, James Conner. Yes. So, James Conner, 5 years ago, I took this dude in the 6th round of a startup. And I remember trading him away for a 1st and a 2nd round pick because I wasn't contending that year. I was just looking at doing, a productive struggle, right? And Conner was my only real running back. I think I had James Robinson as well, right? And somehow, even after trading Conner, I still was able to sneak into the playoffs, but I was knocked out right away. It wouldn't have mattered had I had Conner. I still probably would have been knocked out. But the point being, this dude is like immortal. I don't know what to say, but I just took him in the last one in round 9, and I do not feel bad about it at all. Oh my gosh, you are not serious. I get the value, but you need to go shower after that filth. Danny Dimes. Okay. Well, you know, if you're getting him in the 17th round, Matt, it's not it's not terrible, and the guy can throw the ball better than Anthony Richardson. So we can have a throwing contest, and I think that Danny Dimes will hit the mark 6 out of 10 times, and Richardson will be lucky to hit it 5 out of 10 times. We'll just put it that way. So anyway, my bet is that Danny Dimes starts more games than Anthony Richardson this year. If you want to put a little friendly wager on it, I'm all ears. Let's talk about James Conner though now. Let's give the man his due. So James Conner last year running back 10, yet he comes in at, what is he going at here? Running back 29, going at pick 112 or the 1004. Okay, going high, behind the likes of Joe Mixon, which is fine. I understand that, but behind the likes of Cam Scatterbo, not so much. I don't love that. Okay, there's a number of other running backs, and they will not score as much as James Conner finished RB10 last year, missing 3 or 4 weeks, which you can pretty much pencil in, and all you Trey Benson truthers out there will get excited when those weeks happen. But this is the key, when James Conner is healthy, he is a dirty bell cow. Like, this dude gets 20 plus touches a game. He gets the goal line work. He can catch the ball. He is the centerpiece of this Cardinals offense when he's healthy. I know that Trey McBride is awesome, and that plays partly into it, but they're trying to win games through running the ball with James Conner. And so I'll buy into that for one more year. I mean, when you're getting into the 9th, 10th rounds and you're talking running backs. Hey, what's up, Chef? How you doing? All right. Glad to have you in here. Any questions, go ahead and throw them down there. Back to James Conner. James Conner, he can still catch the ball. He can still do things. If you are building a team that you're planning on competing with right out of the gate, James Conner is a perfect pick in startups. Round 9 or 10, I don't care. Sometimes he'll fall to round 11 even. So he's a great pickup. He's going right around the range. He goes just ahead of Tony Pollard, which I believe in, because Pollard splits a little more with Tajay Spears than Conner splits with Trey Benson. Plus, I have a little more faith. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I have a little more faith in the explosiveness of the Cardinals offense. We'll put it that way. The Titans are due for a little more positivity on offense. We'll just put it that way. They were under 2 touchdowns per game. You can look at the chart on my Patreon. I have a chart there showing touchdowns per game by team. And now, whether or not they've changed offensive coordinators, if they have changed offensive coordinators, they're due for and this, I hate this term, but positive regression. Why don't we just call it progression or progress? They're due for some progress. The Titans, yes, are due for some progress, and that could help Tony Pollard. But the Arizona Cardinals did not change their offense, and so it's the same format. Let's pound James Conner, dump it off to Trey McBride, and just forget about Marvin Harrison. Why? I don't know, but it's caused me to stay away from Marvin Harrison in startups this year. I have not been against Marv. I still think that the potential is there, but this offense is still going through James Conner right now. Okay, let's move on to some wide receivers. How's that? All right. We're going to start off with my boy that I just took in the last startup in the 7th round, and that is Jameson Williams. So I will be the first to admit that I have not always been a Jameson Williams guy. He's had off the field issues. He was injured. He blah, blah, blah. There's always an excuse. Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to feast. Sam Laporta feasted 2 years ago. There's not going to be anything left for JMO. Well, last year at the end of the season, the last 5 games, we saw the potential there. They upped his target share. He wasn't necessarily stealing from Amon-Ra. I still believe in Amon-Ra. I like his draft spot in the beginning to middle of the second round of startups. But Jameson Williams, where he's falling in Dynasty Startups right now, he is going again at pick 80, wide receiver 30 at the 708. And so what you're getting there is the potential for spikes. That's right. And those spike games from JMO can win you weeks. Yes, I'm talking. And if some of that target share boils over into this season, you could be seeing somebody who, I mean, put it this way: Jameson Williams is going in the 7th round, but Xavier Worthy is going in the 5th round. Riddle me that. Like, they're both on good offense. They're both manufactured touches, and they both probably will put up similar stats. If anything, I would bet Jameson scores more points than Xavier Worthy this season. But that's not the bet I'm necessarily making here. The bet is Jameson Williams against the other guys in the 7th round. Okay, that's where I'm getting at. He's such a good value because he has the possibility of winning you weeks, literally every week. And I see he can potentially finish in the top 15 at wide receivers. Now you see there he finished 19 last year. So why is he going at wide receiver 30? Like, that just doesn't correlate to me. Like, the dude's only 24 years old. I know that they didn't re-up him, or they haven't given him a big contract yet. And they may not. Like, the word was out, and there was the possibility of him getting dealt at the rookie draft, but they didn't deal him. They decided to keep him, right? They could have easily dealt him and picked another receiver, another rookie, to be their game breaker in that role opposite Amon-Ra and between Laporta, but they didn't. And they kept him. He's in an awesome offense where it's damn near impossible to double team this guy. And so I see more of the same from Jameson this coming year, if not even more. And so when Jameson's going amidst the old timers like Mike Evans, you've got DJ Moore, Zay Flowers, those kinds of receivers, like, I just see more upside with Jameson Williams, and that's why I'm buying into him at his value in the 7th round. Now we're going to move up a little, sneak back up into the 4th round for this next guy. And this won't come as a surprise to anybody who's been listening to me. This guy can be just a surefire stud. Like, I mean, you look at this guy's numbers from the beginning of last season: 9 targets, 6 targets, 14 targets, until Patrick Mahomes decided to drill him on a tackle. This guy was on his way to a top 10 season, and that is Rashee Rice. Now, there is a little gamble with Rashee, no doubt, but all indications are no suspension this year, and the injury is fine. He will be back ready for week 1. So if he's going to assume that role that he was playing last season, and at least in the first 3 weeks, you're going to see just tons of target volume for Rashee Rice. He basically is taking over that Kelsey role over the middle, and with Xavier Worthy doing his thing on the outside on manufactured touches, Rashee Rice is just going to get pounded over and over and over again over the middle, regularly getting 10 targets a week, 7 or 8 catches, close to somewhere between 75 and 110 yards, and he'll mix in some touchdowns. Like that is protocol for a top 10 season. And so I'm excited about it. I know that many out there are as well. Some people are down on it, but when you're talking in the fourth round and you're looking at guys that could jump up into the top 10, Rashee Rice has got to be damn near right at the top of your list because he could put up a monster season. He's one of the guys outside of the top, 10 that have potential to actually finish wide receiver one if he plays all weeks this year. So that is where his ceiling is at. I understand the risks, but there's sometimes it's just worth the reward if it can happen. All right. I don't think I have to dwell too much on Rashee Rice because I've talked about him enough this off season already. Next up, we're going to get back to another Tampa Bay Buccaneer, and that guy is Chris Godwin. Yes, listed as questionable there. He's going at wide receiver 110, or sorry, pick 110, wide receiver 45, the 1002. So again, this is where you're at the point of your draft and you're trying to fill in your the meat of your team. And if you've drafted any other guys that are a little more toward the veteran side, I'm talking in their prime or older, Chris Godwin is a perfect player to bring into the mix that's going to score points now for you. This isn't for the faint of heart. If you're going young, don't draft Chris Godwin. He's 29. He's coming off a bad, nasty ankle injury. He has had some lower body injuries. As a Bucs fan, I can tell you he's probably going to miss 3 or 4 games this year. That's his protocol because he plays hard and he works hard and he runs into players. He runs that screen pass at least once or twice a game to pick up a first down. He plays hard, so he's probably going to get banged up. But when he's on the field, like he was wide receiver 2, number 2, not a wide receiver 2. He was the wide receiver 2 before his injury last season. And there's no indication that the Bucs are switching their system up. It's going to be similar to what Liam Cohen ran last year. So I think people forgot Godwin's injury was an ankle and not a knee. Yes, agreed. It was a nasty injury, but the fact is had the Bucs gone far enough in the playoffs, there was word that he might be able to play had we gotten to like the NFC Championship or the Super Bowl. So I just, when Godwin is on the field, he's going to be targeted more than Mike Evans. I'll tell you that right now. Okay, so that's why I've been kind of fading Mike Evans, who's going in the 7th round, for Godwin in the 9th round. Okay, his average ADP is just at the beginning of the 10th round right now. So again, great value here if you're building sort of a win now team. They did give him a 2-year deal, so they plan on having him for at least another couple of seasons. He took less money it was a 3-year deal. He took less money to stay in Tampa than go to the Patriots. The Patriots offered him more money. He decided to take the hometown deal with the Bucs, so he loves playing there. And as a Bucs fan, I obviously love him, but also as a fantasy fan, I love the value that you can get out of Chris Godwin. So 2 good players there in Chris Godwin and James Conner that you can get roughly in the same range, just depending which way you want to go, running back or wide receiver there. All right, let's clear some of these out and get to our next guy, and that would be Juwan Jennings from the San Francisco 49ers. Now, Jennings also had an awesome season going last year, but didn't have didn't have the injury like his teammate Brandon Ayuk did. Jennings was doing well. Then once Ayuk got hurt, he even stepped his game up more. And I know that Ricky Pearsall is there, but here's the 49ers offense in a nutshell. Wide receivers 1 and 2 are on the field a lot. Kittle's on the field a lot. And you know who else is on the field a lot? Kyle Juszczyk and Luke Farrell, their tight end 2. And so that leaves Ricky Pearsall scratching and clawing for targets. Now, I think they will implement Pearsall in, but it's sort of like the Jaden Reed situation in Green Bay, and that he's not on the field enough to really have a true monster type season. However, somebody that is going to be on the field is Juwan Jennings. Now, whether or not Ayuk starts the season doesn't really affect Juwan Jennings. He plays that wide receiver 1 role for the Niners. And based off of what he did last season, there's no reason to think that he can't continue that this year. You can see wide receiver 25 finish for somebody who's going right now at the 1204, wide receiver 53, or pick average 136. That is bonkers. Great value here with Juwan Jennings. So I just see, like, if you go and scoop up some running backs between rounds 6 through 10 in that range, and then you want to grab like Jacoby Myers and Juwan Jennings in rounds 11 and 12, those are great picks. If you grab Godwin in round 10, you could do that too. But there's good, decent value at running backs in round 6, 7, 8-ish, depending on who falls, right? But then you can really solidify your receiver core. Let's say you drafted a couple of receivers up top. Then you can wait and hopefully land Godwin or Jennings in the later rounds of your draft and get great production out of them. Again, no reason to believe Juwan Jennings won't continue to produce. I mean, they let Deebo Samuel walk for a reason. Okay. Next up, we're heading over to the tight end position, and we're getting ugly. That's right, Dallas Goedert. Ugh, yuck, right? Well, let's put it this way. Dallas Goedert, now he did get injured last year. That's why he was 27th overall at tight end. But when he's playing and he's been healthy, he has been... Oh, it doesn't switch what he finished. Okay, well... Now, Dallas Goedert, though he's been a little underwhelming in the fact that he's never had a top 5 season, right? You could still pretty much pencil him in week to week to finish on the backside of a tight end 1 week. He's very consistent in total points that he gets. Inconsistent week to week, so he's probably better in a best ball situation. And if you decided to completely wait on tight end and even missed out on that second tier with Njoku and, Evan Ingram, those guys in the middle there, rounds 8, 9, 10, 11, those tight ends going in that range, Dallas Goedert is your perfect guy to grab up super late. And you can actually count on him to put up some solid points for you. Don't worry about Greg Calcaterra. I don't think he's going to scare anybody. And, Goddard just scoops up what's left over from Saquon, A.J. Brown, and Devonta Smith. Whenever he's open, he's reliable. He makes catches, and he did real damage in the postseason. So Jalen Hurts likes him, and I like him too. At value, he is a great pick at value, whether he's your backup tight end or he's your first tight end and you grabbed value elsewhere. And finally, we're going to end this one with my guy, Hunter Henry. Oh, yes. Tight end 12 on the season last year. He walks into practice every day with Drake May. This guy... Now, I'm not saying he's going to put up Cooper Kupp numbers just because he has breakfast with the quarterback, but tight end 12, when he's going at tight end 31, pick 206, averaging in the 17th round. Like, this guy is an absolute steal for you. And there's no reason to believe anything different can't happen again this year. Even if he drops off, let's say he's tight end 18, he's still a steal. Like, why are you picking young tight end? This is the tight end position, okay, folks? Unless there's the potential for them to finish top 5, meaning that they are the top 1 or 2 option on their team, like, don't grab Ben Sinnott, grab Hunter Henry. All right? Don't grab, I don't know, Rondé Gadsden. Grab Hunter Henry. This is a startup, especially if you're, again, building a win now type team. Hunter Henry is your guy in the later rounds as your backup tight end. I went so far as waiting till round 16 in one leagues, round 16 in one startup, to draft Hunter Henry as my starting tight end. Okay, I backfilled it. Don't get me wrong. I grabbed Zach Ertz a round later, who also is a great value. He's just 34. Hunter Henry's got 4 more good years before he gets 34, right? So Hunter Henry, real sneaky steal there late. So let me run those back down for you. At quarterback, my guys are Baker Mayfield, Justin Fields, and Daniel Jones. At running back, we've got James Conner. At wide receiver, Rashee Rice and Jamison Williams, as well as Chris Godwin and Jawan Jennings. And then my guys at tight end, Dallas Goedert, and of course, Hunter Henry. Oh, yeah. So, anybody got any other questions here? Wonderful value for those who pass on. Absolutely. And it's not just those two guys. Like I mentioned, there's Zach Ertz out there, and one other dude. Yes, Mike Gesicki also. Shouldn't forget to mention him. Mike Gesicki, nice late round value at tight end as well. But Henry is one of those guys who, he walks in the door and he is one of the top 2 options for Drake May already. Gesicki's got, Jefferson, or got Chase and Higgins ahead of him. Ertz you could consider the second option, okay, opposite McLaurin. But Hunter Henry, like, who is he competing with? A one-legged Stephon Diggs and a bunch of rookies and some second-year hacks at wide receiver. Like, there's no reason to believe Hunter Henry still isn't going to get 5 to 7 targets again every game. And like I said, he's Drake May's best friend on the team, and we expect progress from Drake May this season, so that only bodes well for Hunter Henry. Again, I'm not saying that Hunter Henry is going to finish top 5 necessarily, but he damn has a good chance to finish 12th again, which was back end tight end 1, upper tight end 2 numbers. So keep that in mind in your Dynasty Startups coming up this off season. So we'll have more coming for you, more on startups, more reviews on startups, helping you prepare and relate to your startup drafts, depending on what their formats are. Just be sure with the questions you ask, you do leave what format you have. That is helpful in responding properly so that you can get good advice. Check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Birdhouse Dynasty Show. Just $3 a month. It's $36 for the whole year. All right. You get rookie rankings, you get my full Dynasty rankings, and better than that, you get the chat. And so, also, if you want a quick answer, go to Buy Me a Coffee, buymeacoffee.com/Birdhouse Dynasty Show. And with that, I want to remind you all, don't ever stop working.